And, when we talk about diversity and we talk about equity, and we talk about access, one of the cornerstones of that is around inclusivity. And our partners over at Dime have created a toolkit for inclusivity. And we're very lucky to have Jeanne Chung, who is extremely busy, one of the busiest people we know, who leads up the strategic program unit at Dime. And we'll be talking a little bit about the actual toolkit itself and how important it is to be able to have this kind of element when talking about equity and access. And again, it's just one of the baseline features that people are looking at when they do this. And again, Jeanne, welcome to the program. Where are you and how are you?
Hi, so excited to be here. I'm in New York City.
Fantastic. All right. Well, good to see you back in New York City. And again, looking forward to hearing about what the toolkit does and how how folks can use it or elements of it to help them improve inclusion and certainly equity and access.
Yeah, absolutely. Really excited to just dive right in. I'm going to start sharing my screen. So I do that, I'll say, so I'm Jeanne Chung, standards me. I'm a strategic program lead at Digital Medicine Society. And I'm going to talk to you about the body of work that I had great privilege of working on, hold on a sec, in the past few months on the digital health measurement collaborative community. And we've launched 2 toolkits around the deployment and development of digital health measurement products. And just stepping back and saying, like, we all know why you should do this work. We sometimes don't know how. And so how do we move from like this big compelling reason for doing good and making change, and how do we operationalize? So that's why I love using this tagline, from should do to how to. And so today I will go through first a lead up and then to the good stuff, which I'll give you quick demos of the toolkits themselves. So we're all familiar with the information on the slide, particularly the last slide, right? We have the opportunity in digital medicine at the crossroads of technology and healthcare to not only ameliorate existing biases, but to build the future of healthcare that we all know is possible. And so DATAcc, it's the nickname for a very long name, Digital Health Measurement Collaborative Community. It is a pre-competitive collaboration focused on digital health measurement specifically, and what we can do to move the needle on that within the healthcare ecosystem. Very quickly, the collaborative communities are a strategic initiative of FDA CDRH, and they had asked us, Digital Medicine Society, to host DATAcc. So Dime is the proud host of DATAcc, and that's how I'm involved with the work. Me and the program director, Yashoda Sharma. She should be listening in the audience today. I can't see if she's here or not right now. She and I were guiding this work all that resulted in the toolkits. Very quickly, Digital Medicine Society is a nonprofit. You can read kind of our mission statement there, but it's all about collecting or gathering the innovators, the forward thinkers, the cross-section of healthcare and technology to optimize human health. So DATAcc, right now it's 46 member orgs, and you can see from the logo cloud that we've got kind of anyone and everyone from every dimension of the healthcare ecosystem. DATAcc's mission is around digital health measurement. And there, we kicked this off last year, and they decided in this diverse group to focus on inclusivity. It all coalesced on this big challenge they're seeing from so many different areas. From there, we quickly understood, right, that there are nuances and there are different needs based on if you're designing and developing a product and if you're deploying a product. We also, the steering committee also spent time delineating, right, the key vectors of inclusivity, which are threaded through the rest of the work. And so just step back really quickly about DATAcc. DATAcc is oriented around digital health measurement and the challenges it faces as we continue to innovate and push for this new future. It's not only around inclusivity, but their first choice is inclusivity. So let's dig in. So this is what we launched at the end of May, 2 toolkits. And I won't go through I won't read you the slide, but I'm going to take you through demos. So on the toolkit for development, right, we understand the big why we need to do this. We've created this thing called the opportunity model calculator, and it helps us with the other why, the commercialization, building the business case to size the market and value the market for our potential digital health measurement product innovation. The other thing we realized very early in this work, again, anchoring in that idea of like should do, there are 10,000 blog articles around be more inclusive, think about diversity, but not a lot of action and also not a lot of numbers. So we created here was a library of evidence that it has over 100 resources that have actual numbers, percentages around risk reduction, percentages around customer engagement, stats on being able to improve representation in clinical trial populations, all of that in one place. It's pretty powerful. And then finally, the how, which is our framework. And it's a step-by-step guide for considerations along dimensions of inclusivity at every step of your product development process. So that's the development side. On the deployment, right? So deployment is very different. The tool already exists. We're getting and we're deploying it in likely two different contexts of use, right? In a clinical trial or in the delivery of care. And what do we need to think about? And so we oriented workbooks and guides to help people really operationalize, understand what they need to do, get closer to making decisions and getting closer to supporting the end user in the way that is the best for everyone. So from there, I'm going to jump into the demo. So here we go, DATAcc. You can see the URL here, the home page. When you drop over to the development page, see the 4 items I mentioned here are listed here, and then we have them here. What I'm going to demo for you is the market opportunity calculator. It's something we're really proud of, and it's really innovative for our industry and very cool. So we've got major health conditions. I'm going to choose diabetes. And major inclusion vectors. Here, I'll choose race and ethnicity. On page 1, what it does, it shows you the strata of US population. It shows you the health condition distribution across those inclusivity vectors. And then over here, which is, I think, the cool part, because it's easy to understand super fast, where's the kind of the disease burden and therefore also the opportunity for us to pursue. That shows the over-indexing of this particular health condition for this particular segment. So we can see we can innovate for here for outsized impact. Next is the fun part. So here I like to think of it, if I'm a designer or developer and I'm very oriented and motivated for huge improvements in my new product. Let's say my current product is getting about 30% engagement. Here, what I can play with is say, okay, for all of those over-indexed populations, I'm going for over 80% engagement on my tool. I'm going to design it so well that it's going to be sticky, it's going to be phenomenal. What this part of the calculator does, it shows you the size of population. If I can move these segments from 30 to over 80, these are the potential people we could reach. Next is the money. So let's say my new product, I'm going to sell it for 99 bucks. What this does is say, at my current level at 30% engagement at 99 bucks, what is the value of that? Here it's about $800 million. And now with my great improvements, all these innovations around engagement, at this level, it's now a $1.7 billion opportunity, which if you don't want to do the math in your head, it also shows you the delta. The next page is the results that you can download and as a PDF. But the idea here is that it is real time, it's live, you can move all of these around and you'll get the population numbers as well as the value. So that's the market calculator. I encourage you absolutely to play with it. It's very fun. We developed it with DATAcc and DIME and Harvard Business School. The library evidence is very straightforward, kind of flip through different categories. Every resource is linked and categorized on different benefits and different aspects of inclusion. So I mentioned the process. We delineated, I think for the first time, a digital health digital health measurement product development process. We leveraged the FDA development process and beefed it up a little bit. In this particular representation, we also provide definitions, like what happens at each stage. Understanding, of course, that this process is never linear and it's unique for every organization, we tried to get to a level of uniformity that would be helpful for everyone. And finally, we've got the framework. So I think the model is cool, but I think the framework is also equally cool. So leveraging the process, this document is a page for every step in the process. Each page gives you specific common problems at that stage regarding inclusivity, some of the risks, then it breaks down to subpoints and considerations you should take. So this is not rocket science, but it's meant for you to anchor into inclusive considerations as you're developing. Here's an example. So we have early user testing. You identify and design, invite, conduct, follow-up, okay, basic steps. For example, in invite, this orange box is about considerations that you need to take. Language, health literacy levels, tech literacy levels. What do I need to consider when I invite people? And when people show up, or when we want them to show up, have I thought about things like transportation, childcare, taking time off from work? Should they be compensated and at what level? So having that all in one place is really the purpose of this tool. We also have linked here relevant resources all at your fingertips. So that's the development side. That's the development toolkit for main components. Next is the deployment. So deployment, we oriented a little bit differently, as you can understand, like it's just a different animal. The product is already in use, it exists, and we're trying to get it out into the end user's hands for a successful use. So we oriented this toolkit in a different way. We have tools oriented around patients, participants, communities, when we're ready to implement, and then again, a resource library with all the relevant resources in one place so you don't have to get lost in your Google search results or in your 3,000 bookmarks if your bookmarks look anything like mine. So here, the way we've oriented the page is, it's a question. How do I plan for effective community engagement? What should I think about? So here we have guides that you can read through and they're downloadable. Here is a very cool tool in a workbook format. In this workbook, so oriented around prepping end users, we have things like a sample end user agreement, FAQs for end user, for privacy security, questions to ask. This particular one is a tool that you would give to a user so they know what to ask, so they feel comfortable and ready to use the product. And I'll mention two things here. One, in the workbook, you can download each of these templates, and that's available to you. And also, this is meant to be a starting point. We understand the tools are going to ultimately be fit for purpose for your specific context, for your specific population, and for your specific tech product. But this is meant to give you an idea of what to consider. Then we have when you're implementing inclusive deployment workbook, similar construct. We have a bunch of tools for you. Same thing, you can download, use them, modify them. One thing I really wanted to highlight is this. This tool I love, I really dig, because we think about inclusive communications and you think it's pretty inherent. Like, I think I know what I'm doing. My language is pretty inclusive. This tool has a written description and two other versions, and it gives you readability scores. How readable, and you can see the first one's not so readable, and you move down. And it's a very concrete example of like making assumptions or being able to understand how you can improve your work. And then on the other cool thing in the toolkit is this other workbook. We've created a flow chart for you to understand. Once the tool is in the hands of the user, their questions, how do we support them? Introducing ideas like a digital health navigator. How do you support people in these experiences and these medical and health needs?
That's fantastic. Well, Jeanne, this is great, and we really appreciate your time today. And again, we'll drop your LinkedIn into the chat box. For anyone who has any questions for Jeanne, please follow up on LinkedIn, and again, tremendous presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.